This video is sponsored by Curse of the High IQ. It's for all you people who have a high IQ. It's not for the people that know they're smart, because you probably got tested, like, you know, your parents are like, oh, you're really smart, I guess. You don't even know it. You're like, oh, I guess I got an IQ high. It's for you people who don't realize you're smart because you never got an IQ tested and you're like pained by people driving slow in the left lane. And then you're like, you get your IQ test. You're like, oh, I see. I'm like, wait, do you see the cover? You see, oh, over there. That's you. That's you. Here's everybody else watching their sports ball. And, oh, did Disney come out with a new movie that's really like, oh, my gosh, and the thing and the stuff and the politics? And you're like, why is everyone a moron? If you're asking that question, get that book, Curse the High IQ. We have a young man. I don't know if he's young. He is young, 24. And he has a problem. Hey, bleep hole. I'm going to try and keep this monetizable. I'd like this to remain anonymous. My question is not how to get the girls, which he knows not to ask, but instead where to get the girls. Personal background. I'm a young black guy, 24, with an IQ of 142. Okay, you're smarter than me. You're definitely that little red dude right there on that book. Same neighborhood as you from your book, Curse of the High IQ. I got around 130,000 in net worth. Where are the good men? Why can't black women find a good man? I don't know, ladies. Don't know where they're at. You only got 100,000 net worth, 130,000. With about the same income and expenses after taxes of about 30,000 per year. Working on getting a business set up to commercialize an idea I had at my last employer when I was dumb enough to think bosses would reward creativity and drive. Hadn't read your book yet. Yeah, hey, now you know. Now you know. I'm staying in my financial position because I think I have my financial house largely in order. Yeah, I'd say I didn't have 130,000 net worth when I was 24. I think I maybe had 10 grand. You are way staying in financial because I have a house largely in order, but part of me would like to have a family someday. Good luck. Maybe I'm not cynical enough yet. As such, an alarm keeps going off in my head telling me that every year going by, more women in my age group are getting pregnant and therefore aren't in the dating pool anymore. I'm worried that I'm not spending enough time trying to find one. Problem is, I see it is one of numbers. If I want an intellectual companion, then I'm throwing out something on the order of 95% of women. And if I want someone who isn't burdened with debt or is otherwise willing to tolerate my anti-consumerism, anti-rat race, anti-pretty much anything people think is important lifestyle, I'm cutting that down even further. Plus, hopefully she's cute. You got a it's cute what you think's on the menu. Although intellectually, I know everyone looks like bleep at a certain age. If I'm going to have such bleep luck fishing, I like to know where to maximize my chances. I don't waste my time. Thanks. And we keep anonymous. I said, okay. I had a question. Because he is black. I said, well, what town are you searching in? Not that it will matter much, but if you're in Seattle chasing flea-infested, hairy, armpitted feminists, might be worth moving. Also, where are you going socially? Well, what are you doing socially in your life to boost your chances? Won't lie. It looks like a desert from all my agents in the field, but there could be one or two things you could do to boost your chances. Specific to your race, do you have to date a black girl? Or are you okay with Latinas, white girls, etc.? And he says he lives in a leftist town. I'm not going to say where. Your dad's there and he has bad health. No major social activities. And you're in a leftist part of the country. So it's not all politics. I don't even know if you're Democrat or Republican, but let us take the politics aside. In general, Democrat women make horrible wives. They're just not, unless you yourself are a socialist, well, then okay, you can go beg for other people's money. You don't sound that way. So your environment is bad. That's a very bad town to be in. Just hang out with buddies. Open to pretty much anything since aside from church. Oh my gosh, where'd the good guys go, ladies? I wonder if black women could find where are the good black men? I don't know. This guy just makes a lot of money. has 130,000 saved up at 24, and he goes to church. Where are the good black men? Where are they? Find someone, okay, your grandma's stuck in 1940 or 50 or whatever. No preferences on race, don't either way. One thing I've noticed actually is that black people tend to be more religious. So being an unbeliever, I might find that difficult. Well, you may be agnostic or atheist, but nothing wrong. I got a buddy. She has to be Christian. I'm like, yeah, but most Christian women are hypocrites. They're liars. Like it is a bad thing if a woman claims she's Christian, because most Christians aren't. They're hypocrites. It's like when a woman or a guy, for that matter, but let's talk about women because men are interested in dating men. When a woman claims she's a Christian, that's her claiming she's a hypocrite. She only believes and gloms onto that for purpose, validation, reason, belonging. She doesn't actually believe in Christ dying for her sins. And he's all like, but she has to be a Christian. I'm like, or you just go with an intellectually honest atheist girl or agnostic gal or some gal who just really hadn't thought about it. You could bring her to Christ. Oh no, she has to be. I'm like, okay, you just wiped out. So don't be so close-minded or ignorant. As my friend, yeah, buddy, I called you ignorant because you are. Don't let the religious. There's nothing wrong with people being religious. My girlfriend's religious. I'm not. There's some good values to being a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew. I mean, just have some principles. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, but getting back to your the milk and toast. Okay, you're in a bad town. You're in the one bad town in that state, and it's good you're going to date outside your race. You're okay with that. But I'm going to say genetically probably attracted to your own race. And since you're black, you are dealing with a bunch of leftists. Then you also got to convince the other gals of other races to maybe date you, which women are a little bit more open to, but you still got that genetic, white people prefer white people, black people prefer black people, Asians prefer Asians. God, where do you fish? Man, it is going to be hard. And like I said, you definitely got to get outside of that town. And here's what I'm not cynical enough. One thing you don't have to worry about, let's say you're worried that like each year going by, women your age group are getting more pregnant. There's no age group for men. We got a big ass age group. Okay, we're men. We age like scotch. And you're aging quite fine at 24 with $130,000. You're good, buddy. You're all right. So I wouldn't worry about that. So there's no rush. Let's put it on that way. But where you find them, I don't know. If you had that answer, you'd be a billionaire. Where do you find good quality traditional gals? Now, your grandmother, as much as I pick on her, she's probably right. You're going to have to go to nonprofits, go to church, find a traditional gal. You want to get married, you're going to have to go traditional. You may not believe in the religion, but that's where they are. What about not spending time? My problem is, as I see a number, I want an intellectual companion. And you want an intellectual companion? Here's the problem, man. And you read this book. You know that, especially at 141, holy shit. Dude, you are so far off. You're not off the charts, but you're almost about to fall off of it. There's like 3 of you to every 1 gal your IQ range. Because women have a more tight bell distribution curve, men have a flatter one. So there's more dumb people like you and me, but there's also more brilliant geniuses like you and me. So there's 3 times as many homeless men, and there's 3 times as many geniuses. You're gonna have to change your expectations. That's the only practical thing. I love my girlfriend to death. She's nowhere near as intelligent as me. Nowhere near. And there's times, oh my God, gargle, 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 gargle. Yes, dear. That's how it works. Yes. Now, I don't know. And you're just sitting there agape, like, I'm waiting for you to make the connection. Yes, now would be the time. Yes. Because there's nothing effing else to do right now. Do it. Yes. And You're just, and this is going to be you with everybody, not even your interaction with women. It's going to be your interaction with other people. You're going to be probably in the left lane waiting like, why is the Asian guy driving so slow? I don't know. Asians just love driving slow in the left lane. It's their thing. It's what they do. Okay. You're going to be sitting there ordering 3 times in Wyoming over at the Subway shop trying to like, no, I said chicken sandwich. And I don't know why there's any beef on that sandwich. So this is beyond women, but man, what you want, I hate to tell you this, dude, what you want doesn't exist. The gal that was probably most intellectually compatible with me was a nutcase. Great gal, brilliant gal, probably blew me out of the water with IQ, probably in the 180s. This gal was just brilliant. Wouldn't brush her teeth. Wouldn't comb her hair. You know, I mean, after a while, you lose enough Dungeons and Dragons points that you're dysfunctional. You're so skewed in one way. There's only so many Dungeons and Dragons points you can allot to your character, and then you start faltering and failing in other ways. And I'm sorry, man. I wish you got an IQ of 142. Good luck. Good effing luck. So where do you fish? Okay, I mean, this is a crapshoot, man. You're going to have to be plus or minus 15 points, okay? You're going to have to just accept you're going to date dumber gals. You're going to have to interact with dumber people. I mean, that's just literally 90, 142. That's more than 2 standard deviations. More 98, 99% of the population is dumber than you. Okay, so just keep that in fact. You're asking me to work miracles. You're asking me to fish a woman in 1% of the population. Less, probably a third of 1%, because at your IQ range, there's just not that many intelligent women. So get into academia, and I mean hardcore academia, not the sociology department or the school of journalism, like the physics lab. I hope you got yellow fever. Maybe it's just some Asian gals, because statistically they got it's amazing how not far apart different races, different countries are in terms of IQ. Like the average high IQ, I think the highest is 106, and it's either Hong Kong or Taiwan. I'm not sure which. Maybe it's 107 and it's Singapore. But the whole point, you're talking like 5-6 points above average. But then you got to, at least that shifts the Bell distribution curve. So at your tail end, there's like statistically more. Maybe you start looking at after Asian gals. You start developing Asian fever, yellow fever. So that's one thing. Ballroom dancing. I don't want you to going to operas or symphony like you got the white wig on, you're like, oh, and like you're all square dancing, but it's the 1700s type of stuff. I don't think that's you. What you're primarily going to have to do is just accept you might not find a gal, because let's admit you're a statistical freak. Okay, you're the red guy over here. Okay. So it's managing your expectations. That's the problem. But for a super high IQ guy, well, maybe not super high, but definitely high, man, I don't know. You're going to have to go into environments, engineering, IT, maybe academia. Like you literally, I'm being serious. You literally pursue your doctorate in physics part-time, just to like go have a group of people to hang out with. You don't care if you get a doctorate. You don't care if you like figure out Einstein's universal unifying theory. You don't really care about it. You're just doing it for social activity, and it stimulates your brain too. It might be something you want to consider. But I think, unfortunately, it's Aaron. How do I make the universe different? I don't know, dude. And I wish I knew. I wish I knew. So we can't make the universe different. Actuarially, you're kind of screwed. So only you can change yourself. That's the only variable you can change. You're not going to get smarter people. Not at that IQ level, dude. And there's a lot of gals out there. They're going to drive you effing nuts. They're dumb. You're just dumb compared to you. And you're like, and you got to, You got to be understanding. And on top of it, they're women. Here's the other thing. Forget IQ. IQ is already one problem. Women are different. I don't know if you knew this. Women are different than men. Shock. and forget, I've met brilliant women, but there's also a gap in logic with women that has nothing to do with IQ. They can test. They're brilliant. They got, but then there's this logic gap where you're like, I've literally looked at my girl. I'm like, now? Just out of morbid curiosity, like, is the brain ever going to make the connection? No, you're looking at me now. I got the blank deer eyes in the headlights, kind of like, now. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. And it sucks, man. You're not gonna have your equal. And maybe thank God you like different races. Okay, you're not against that. Like I said, chase after the Asians. But if you got a penchant for black women because you're black, oh my God, good luck. Now, at the same token, now here's something interesting to give you a little bit. You want to go fishing in certain ponds. What I have noticed within the black community is I have black friends. My one black friend. I have multiple black friends, actually. And it's the Ben Carson effect. I guess we could call it that. And maybe you should join the Republican Party or join the Libertarian Party or, literally find the black Republican Party, the black sect within the Republican or Libertarian parties. And what I have noticed with my black friends, obviously they're not Marxists or Democrats. I don't befriend low IQ, idiot, hypocritical people. They tend to be a Ben Carson-esque level of intelligence. I don't want to pay him a compliment, but I have to because his name's Richard. My buddy Richard, black, just a genius. I mean, he's got my 6. I mean, I could throw it over the plate. He'll hit it out of the park. And there's a theory I have where if you are intellectually independent-minded enough as a black man or a woman, black individual, to shirk the leftist, Democrat, Marxist, leftist brainwashing, you are a truly unique, independent intellectual. Your brain is very different. It's very unique, and certainly on IQ. But I mean this in a rarity sense, because I know Richard, I know Marcus Brown, Vince. They're not just black guys who don't vote Democrat, but they are very, very, very unique in their own way. And I know black women. Erica Shanta Williams. Erica's hustle. Erica's Classy Climb. Look her up. I know the Black Calamity Jane. And you take the race out of it, the fact that they are not leftist means they had a huge escape velocity of intellect and independent thought to escape the standard, oh, you're an Oreo or Uncle Tom or whatever like that. And they're very interesting people on top of it. Like they're there's interesting people. God, I really enjoy golfing with Richard. It's just a pleasure to be with him. But and then Vince, you don't know Vince. Vince is just, everybody loves Vince. And Marcus Brown. Oh, all these girls are showing up at my place. I'm like, oh, that's a problem, Marcus? Yeah, it's a problem. Why is it a problem? Well, because they want to have sex with me. Are they good-looking women? Yeah, it's a problem. I'm like, good old Marcus. But if you were to find a non-Democrat, like here we go. You want ponds deficient. This is gonna be a very small Venn diagram, dude. Black women that like guns. You're gonna find some gals that are at least independent-minded. We're not talking IQ, though they probably do correlate. But we're talking some really interesting gals. And maybe they don't have to be black, but women that like guns. Maybe you go to the gun range. But I think that when you get that level of true independent mindedness and you can shuck what is an entire cacophony, an entire total environment of brainwashing you pull the D lever because you're black, and the, whatever, white guy, Republican, even they freed the slaves and fought a war, never mind Abraham Lincoln. But if you get a gal that is simply not a leftist or a Marxist, and if they're black, and they go to the gun range, okay, that's going to be a higher target-rich environment, to quote Maverick. But yeah, man, aside from that, you already take away your race, take away everything else. You got an IQ that is freakishly high, and you're a statistical oddity. And you also have to manage your expectations. You're going to have to probably won't find a gal. There's a good chance you're not going to find a gal. That's honest. That's just what I'm saying. And you could drive yourself more insane hoping there's a girl out there. You're like, I see that one of the numbers. I want an intellectual companion when I'm throwing out someone on the order of 95% of women. 95, try 98. And I want someone who isn't burdened with debt or is otherwise willing to tolerate my end. Good luck. So whatever ideas I had, gun ranges, black conservative women, there's some out. There's got to be a group. And they don't have to be black, but conservative women, gun women. That's probably going to be your cup of tea. Your anti-consumerism is going to work against you. Women like shit. Oh, women love stuff. They love stuff. Oh, more stuff. Has no purse. But it's more stuff. More crap in my house. Oh my God. I win. I'm queen bee. I have crap. So you get to deal with that. And you're a minimalist. You're going to have to find a real intellectual. So, all right. Let me get it done. All right. Go to the gun range. Search black conservative women. Or not libertarian, whatever. Just not Marxist leftist. What else? Get into academia with that IQ. You might as well. I mean, what else you got to do with your life? Because here's the thing. I'm serious. There's like a 90% chance you're never going to marry or find the right gal. So you're going to be a bachelor forever. So in the meantime, with that awesome IQ, maybe you ought to go into physics. Really, why don't you go study time-space warping? Why, you might as well. And maybe there's a gal there that's really cool and reasonably bangable. But yeah, man, I'm sorry. We always focus on this side of the IQ curve. You don't focus on the other side. The other side is people that are dysfunctional. They are mentally impaired. Someone who's, and I don't mean this in an intellectual sense, but somebody who's in a wheelchair can't run a marathon. It's kind of the same thing here. You're just not going to be able to function within most of normal society. And the first thing is to acknowledge that and admit it. So there you go. I'm sorry, buddy. I wish I had something more hopeful. There you go. All right, DJ Aftershock, of course. $2. Don't work out and be yourself. Major in education. I'll tell you this though, dude, for the client, you can't let that IQ go to waste. You got to go do something with it. I don't care if you write a book or whatever. Anthony CMA for $2. Am I weird thinking $1,000 is a ton of money? No, it is a ton of money. It is. I mean, what are you spending it on? Are you spending it on stupid stuff? Spending it on rent? Yeah, rent is required. Are you investing it? You getting a rate of return? If you spend $1,000 on something, do you get more than that? You get $1,200 back. That's a 20% rate of return. That's good. Spending versus investing. That's it. There you go. All right. Questions, answers, aholeconsulting.com. See you guys later. Toodles.